Hello everyone, and welcome back to Tea Dime Crochet. Today we're going to be working on the bow headbands that I had shown you at my last podcast. So this is the black one that I made. It has that silver thread that runs through it. And then here's the white one that I made. The only difference between these two is I did a single crochet edging, which we're not going to do on the version that we're doing today, but just know that you can do that. And all I did was, once I completed my entire panel and sewed my two ends together, then I just went around both edges with a single crochet, and that's why this one's a little bit wider. So what you're going to need today is you're going to need any type of worsted weight yarn will work. Today I'm going to be using this Deborah Norville Everyday. It's by Premier Yarns, and it's in my stash, so that's why we're using it. This color is turquoise tones, so I have a partial of a skein here and then a full skein. I think I'm going to probably use more than what's just sitting here, so that's why I grabbed both of them. But like I said, any worsted weight yarn will work. The other two, or the white one that I used, I don't think I said this, was just Red Heart Super Saver. And for the life of me, I cannot remember what this sparkly yarn is called. I've had it in many past videos, and I have lost the ball band, and I forgot to look at that other skein when I was inside. So if I remember, I'll try and pop the name in somewhere around here. But like I said, any worsted weight, you're going to need a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, your measuring tape, because you're going to need to measure your head. If you have you probably need a hat sizing chart if you're going to be making it for anybody besides you, so you'll need that too. I didn't bring in mine because I already know what size I need. You're going to need your scissors and your yarn needle. So for my headband, I did 20 inches. My head is 21 inches, but as everyone knows, crochet stretches a lot. So I think that extra, taking off 1 inch, and it works out just fine. If you're not sure, you can always just go to whatever the amount on your hat size chart says. And I do have a copy of that on my website. All the info is in the description box below. But for me today, we're going to be doing 20 inches. So we're going to just start with a slip knot, as usual. And then we are going to chain 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And you can pretty much adjust the width of this headband to any size that you want. Probably the skinnier you get, you're probably not going to have that bow effect, but you can pretty much do whatever you would like. So we're going to go straight into that 16th stitch with a double crochet. You guys know that I like to just go straight in. I don't like to chain 2 or 3. I think it makes it a lot nicer if we just go straight in with a double crochet, but you can always do a chain 2 or a chain 3, however you like to do it. You could also do a single crochet chain 1, but however you do your beginning stitch, that's what you're going to do in this 6th stitch. So I'm going to pull up a little bit, and I'm going to be working in the back loop because it'll make the seam a lot nicer and easier to work when we're going back to work into that seam. And you're just going to do a double crochet. And then we're going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch across, working in the back loop. Gonna have to excuse me, my hands are cold. We've had a really big cold front come in and my craft room is freezing, so I try to do the best that I can with what I got. And then, like I said, we're just going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch across. So go ahead and finish out all of those double crochets and I'll meet up with you when I'm on my last stitch. Okay, so I've finished all of my stitches and we're just going to chain 1, and as usual we're just going to pretend that that chain 1 doesn't even exist, and we're going to go straight into that first stitch with a double crochet. And we're going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch across. Oops, got myself all tangled up. So I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas and a New Year. We had a really great one. We did ours early. My husband had to work actually on Christmas Day, so we did all of our Christmas on Christmas Eve. But it was still a nice day. I'll probably share in next podcast what I got. My husband got me a really nice laminator, which is what I asked for, so. And I think the kids had a really good Christmas. And we actually got to see my oldest daughter the week prior to, well, yeah, I guess it was the week prior to Christmas, and she actually got to come up and go to my youngest daughter's choir concert, so that was nice. Okay, so we finished that, and we're going to change it up a little bit. This headband, you can pretty much do any stitch that you want. You could do basic double crochet for every stitch, which is, yeah, that's what I did on the black one. I've done another one, which is my daughter's, that I've done double crochet and single crochets. I think the white one. Yep. So the white one I did double crochets and single crochets. So I think that what we're going to do today is we're going to do 2 rows of double and then 1 row of single. So chain 1 again and turn, and we're going to go straight into that beginning stitch with a single crochet, and this will just give it a little more texture. And you're going to put 1 single crochet in every stitch across. I really like this yarn. It's very soft. I won two skeins of it in a giveaway. No, 3 skeins of it in a giveaway. So 2 of the blue and 1 of a different color. And they're very comparable to Karen Simply Soft. So they're really nice to work with. So that is row 3. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 rows of double crochet and then a row of single crochet, and we're going to repeat that until we get the length that we need. So I'll go ahead and do one more set with you, So we're going to chain 1, and we're going to put a double crochet into that beginning stitch, and then 1 double crochet in every stitch across. This headband is very versatile. You could make the same headband and choose a bunch of different ways to do the stitches, and it would look different every time. But I think it's really cute, and my youngest daughter, I made her one for Christmas and she really likes it, so they're good for gifts. And I've already wore my black one, which is the sparkly one, and it was really nice. I'm thinking I might give this one to my oldest daughter for her birthday when she's coming up in a couple weeks. I think she might like that. Okay, so we finished that row. Now we're going to do one more row of double crochet. So we chain 1 and turn, and now we're going to go straight into that beginning stitch with a double crochet, and then 1 double crochet in every stitch. Sorry, I had to readjust myself. I find that my table is too tall and it makes I think that's what's making my elbows hurt. So I had to prop myself up on my leg. There's that last stitch, and then the next row will be the single crochet row. So we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to put 1 single crochet in every stitch across, starting with this beginning stitch. I really love how that color is working together. That blue and that white, it's pretty. Okay, so that's our last stitch. So you're just going to repeat those 3 rows until your headband reaches the length that you want it to be. Like I said, I'm going to do 20 inches on mine. You can either measure your head or go off the hat sizing chart that I have on my website. Or you could just Google hat sizing chart too if you don't want to go to my website, and there's tons of them. But go ahead and figure out whatever size that you need for the hat circumference, and you'll just want to keep continuing this until you're at that length, and then I will meet up with you when I have completed all of my 20 inches. Okay, so I finished my 20 inches. So I have my 20 inches. So you're going to find what is your right side and what is your wrong side. And you can normally tell because your single crochet stitches will pop out a little bit more on your right side row. So you want to put your right side rows together. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my yarn through this other side, through the first stitch here. So my loop is going through both sides of the work. And my yarn all tangled up. And I'm just going to slip stitch. And I'm going to tighten that. And then we're just going to do a single crochet row all the way across, going back into that beginning stitch. And you want to make sure that you get through both edges, and we're just going to do a single crochet in each stitch. I should have made my chains a little bit looser. And you're just going to do that until you make it to the other side. So I have 2 more stitches left. And this end stitch may be a little bit hard to get through, but and then we're going to fasten off with a really long tail, because this tail is what's going to we're going to wrap around our seam to make that little bow effect. And I didn't measure, you know, it's just a pretty big tail. I'm assuming probably around 20-30 inches, somewhere around there. And then you're just going to pull that tight. And since I have a tail here, I'm going to go ahead and hide that real quick from my beginning chains. That way it doesn't get in my way. Later. So we're just going to flip our headband right side out, and we're going to find our end here and thread our needle. And what we're going to do is we're just going to weave this back and forth through our seam area, because this is what's going to cinch up this section. So we're just going to weave it back and forth right over that seam. And I kind of just go from one stitch and jump over the next stitch and go through the other side and back up. And I just keep doing that until I get to the other side. Oh, I forgot to mention that you want to end on a single crochet row. I'll try and pop that in at the end of the section earlier before you guys get into it. So you're just going to pull that all the way through. And hopefully not get it knotted up. So just like that. And then we're just going to pull on this and scrunch it, just like that. And then what you're going to do is, what I like to do is I take my needle off and I kind of just wind this end up so it's easier to control. Just make a little butterfly. Oops. Since we're dealing with so much yarn, it's easier to have it in a little ball. And then what I do is I just pull this tight as I can get it, and then I just start wrapping. And you want to be mindful of where you're placing your yarn because you want it to be a nice, neat bow. You don't want it to look messy, so just keep wrapping it around. What I do is I keep moving from one side to the next to try and extend this portion, and I find that that makes the nicest looking section. And you're just going to want to keep doing that until you are almost out of yarn. You want to have enough to be able to tie it off, because you do have to actually knot this end so it doesn't come undone. Just like that. And once you kind of get it wide enough that you want it, you can just start building up that little area. And this is why it's important that you leave a long enough tail, because you want this to look nice and neat. My dogs are barking like crazy in there for some reason. So I'm just going to hold that tight because we don't want that to come undone. And I'm going to thread my needle. And I'm going to go ahead and just choose a stitch on either side, doesn't matter. But you want to choose a stitch of the headband itself to pull your yarn through, and make a knot. And it's very important that you actually knot this off, because this will just unravel with wear. And then you can just take that tail and just run it underneath, and that should hide your knot. And if you want to, you can kind of weave it back and forth. Just like that. Probably don't have to do it that many times, but and cut your tail off, and there is your bow headband. I think these are really cute. And you just want to kind of straighten it out a little bit to where your bow is nice and neat. So that is the completed headband. I think they're really cute. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.